All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. We're diving deep today
Deep.
into Psalm 40.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Attributed to King David.
Yeah. Shepherd, king, poet.
So much to unpack with him.
Yeah.
But in Psalm 40, I mean, talk about hitting on some major life themes. Deliverance.
Big one.
Trust.
Absolutely.
Obedience.
Interesting.
Yeah. And even I don't know, what do you think about obedience as a form of sacrifice?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
For sure. Now, I know you're listening, you're thinking ancient poetry, what's that got to do with me today?
Right. Yeah, sure.
But honestly, this psalm, it just gets to the heart of the human experience, even thousands of years later.
Right. It's really wild how relevant these words still are. Take the very beginning of the psalm.
Okay.
He's talking about being pulled from a watery pit.
Oh, yeah.
Slimy mud.
I mean, what a visual, right?
Oh, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's so much more than just a physical rescue,
Yeah, right.
It's about feeling totally overwhelmed, lost in despair. You know that feeling.
Ugh, yeah. Like drowning in it.
Exactly.
But then he talks about being set on solid ground.
Right. A new song to sing.
Okay, so what's that shift all about?
I think it speaks to the amazing resilience of the human spirit. I mean, even when we're staring down utter despair,
Yeah.
there's this spark, this inherent hope for renewal,
Oh, I like that.
for finding our footing again.
Okay, yeah.
It's powerful. Even when things feel impossible, there's always a chance to turn it all around.
I love that. Talk about a message of hope for anyone going through a hard time.
Absolutely. You are not alone in those feelings.
No, you are not alone. But then, David, he gets into this whole other thing about trust.
Okay.
And he contrasts putting your faith in God versus relying on the proud or even those who or are deceptive.
Right, right.
What do you think's going on there?
I think it comes down to where we place our ultimate reliance, And David, he'd been betrayed,
Right.
challenged countless times, just rising to power. So he knew the fickleness of human loyalty.
For sure.
And I think he's pointing to something deeper, more solid, a source of support that's not swayed by, the whims of human nature.
That's so interesting. And for our listener, maybe that hits home. I mean, we've all been let down by people.
Of course.
Right? We've all had those moments.
Absolutely.
But David isn't just saying trust in God.
Yeah.
He's talking about something deeper. It's almost like a different kind of offering.
Yeah.
He's talking about obedience.
Right.
And that, I don't know, it feels kind of old-fashioned in a way.
Yeah, it might seem that way at first, but
Yeah.
I think if we look closer, it's more nuanced than that. Check out verses 6-8. He says, and I'm paraphrasing a little, but he basically says, sacrifice and offering you didn't want. Burnt offerings and sin offerings, you didn't require them. And then she says something really interesting. Here I am. I have come. It is written about me in the scroll. I desire to do your will, my God. Your law is within my heart.
Wow. So he's challenging the whole idea of just outward displays of sacrifice.
Exactly. He's saying it's not just about the external actions. It's got to be deeper than that.
So it's about really internalizing those values, making them part of who you are.
Yeah. It's about aligning your actions with what you believe in your heart.
That's pretty powerful.
It is. And it's interesting to think about how that plays out in different times and cultures,
Yeah.
In David's time, defying the norms of ritual sacrifice, that was a radical act of faith.
For sure.
But what about today? What's radical today?
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe it's standing up for your beliefs even when it's unpopular, or making personal sacrifices for something bigger than yourself. The specifics change. But that core principle, aligning your actions with your beliefs, that's timeless.
Yeah, it's a call to walk the walk.
Yeah.
Right. Not just talk the talk.
Absolutely.
But then David, he kind of shifts gears again and he goes from this really introspective reflection to almost shouting from the rooftops about God's justice and faithfulness.
Right.
What's going on there?
Well, think about it. He's just been through this huge, profound experience of deliverance.
Yeah.
Both physically and spiritually. And there's this overwhelming sense of gratitude, and it just spills out.
That makes sense.
He's not just preaching, he's sharing that joy, the impact his faith has had on his life.
That's so interesting. It makes me think about how we share our own stories.
Oh, yeah.
Our own moments of hope and resilience. It doesn't have to be religious at all.
No, not at all.
It could be about overcoming any challenge or discovering a new passion.
Right.
Anything that's changed you for the better. Just sharing that can be so powerful.
It really can.
It really can. But then we get to those last few verses and the mood kind of shifts again. David, he suddenly becomes really vulnerable, expressing fears and just pleading for God's protection.
Yeah.
It's a big contrast from like the triumphant tone earlier on.
It is. And it's a good reminder that faith isn't always a straight line to enlightenment, you know?
No, it's messy, right?
It's messy, full of doubt. And even the most devout people, they have moments where they feel alone, scared.
For sure.
And the psalm, it ends not with this big victory parade, but with a plea for help. He says, "You are my help and my deliverer. Oh my God, do not delay."
That's really powerful.
It is. He's acknowledging this ongoing need for something beyond ourselves, you know, for support and guidance.
Wow, okay. So we've gone from the depths of despair to this like incredible expression of trust.
Yes.
To a totally new way of thinking about obedience.
Yeah.
And finally, just this raw, honest vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's quite a journey.
It is.
What do you think our listeners should take away from all of this?
Well, I think Psalm 40 offers a timeless message, a message of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of faith, however you define that for yourself.
I love that.
It's a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there's a chance for renewal.
Yeah.
For finding that solid ground again.
Solid ground.
Yeah. And it challenges us to actually live our values, not just talk about them.
Walk the walk.
Exactly. And to share those stories of hope and change with each other, you know, because our experiences matter. And finally, I think it reminds us that it's okay to not be okay all the time.
Ooh, that's good.
It's okay to need help, to need support. We're all on this journey together.
So well said. And for our listener, I'll leave you with this. What if you were to write your own song today?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. What experiences of deliverance, of trust, of vulnerability would you share? What new song would you be singing?
Think about that.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.